Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we are having a good time talking about the dog days of the financial markets. And we kind of kicked the show off that the market's been a dog. It's been pretty much flat since April of 2021. So longer-term investors haven't seen any returns since then. And I think that's affected a lot of people's retirements, Al. And we're going to get into that in this segment here. But we had a lot of people that texted in for that free class on income strategy. So if you're looking for an income strategy on top of your job, whether it's during the mornings, afternoons, or in the evenings, there's assets that are open at that time that allow you to use leverage, which means you can maximize the buying potential of your hard-earned dollars. And that means starting smaller. Just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class. Text investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class. Most people bring their spouse or significant other. That way you can if you do your financial decisions together, it's a great experience. So that way you can both make the right decision, what's good and what's right for you and your family. Just text the word investing to the number 210. So Al, we have a lot of listeners that have retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, any type of retirement account. They're relatively similar in nature, but there's different things that you can do with them. Now, the market's not doing a whole lot, and we have listeners that want to do more. They want to be able to retire. They want to be able to retire with confidence, but they want to do that now or within the next couple of years. What are some of the strategies that you help people with and you walk through in this free investing class to have the opportunity to be able to do that?
We do. We spend a lot of time talking about that, what the opportunities are, and what the negatives are about what you're doing right now. If you lost money last year in 2022 and 25, the majority of the 401ks, in fact, almost all of them were down about 25%. And about 57% of them were down the year before when the market was up. So a lot of people are now going into the third year, possibly with losses in those 401ks. And here the problem is most of the advice people are getting, just in general in investing, but especially in 401ks, is outdated. It's advice that was put together back when 401ks were introduced back in the 80s. And one of the key selling features of a 401k, for example, is that if you put this money aside now, it's pre-tax money that goes into your 401k, so it's taxed when it comes out, as is all the growth of it. But the selling feature there was, you're in a much higher tax bracket now. When you retire, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. Now, remember, back when 401ks came into existence, the top tax bracket was about 70%. It had been as high as 94%. The tax bracket has come way down. This may be the lowest tax bracket that you'll ever be in, because with all the debt we have out there, $31 trillion, heading towards possibly $50 trillion in the next few years, taxes are probably going to have to go up. They're certainly not going to go down, but taxes are one of the only ways we have of taking care of that debt, and just printing more money. So one of the big features of a 401k really is not necessarily an advantage anymore, the tax advantage part of it. The best part of a 401k is that free money. But then you're encouraged to continue putting money in after that match has been met into something that may give you 4 or 5% return on an average annual basis, with full 100% exposure to a correction, a 10% correction down to maybe a 20 to 50 or 60% bear market.
Do you remember back in 2020 when Corona happened, they were actually stopping those matches too?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them stopped.
Have they started those back up? I don't know. But
some I don't know. Maybe they have, maybe not. But that's a good point.
Yeah, and you're at the mercy to the company then.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want, and then it doesn't matter what you need or what you feel or what you need to get to. They will do whatever is best for the company.
Yeah, and the problem is that nobody's giving you advice on what to do with the money that's in those retirement accounts. Basically, you're managing them, but you're paying somebody else a management fee, basically for giving you the right to manage your own money, which really doesn't make sense.
So what can you do differently then?
Well, one of the things we talk about in these classes, dynamic 401k management. First of all, you need to know what's in your 401k. My guess is that the majority of the people listening could not write down on a piece of paper everything that they have in their 401ks.
They'll probably say mutual funds.
Yeah, sure. Mutual funds, that which is what most people are in. Mutual funds have high management fees. They have mediocre returns. So that alone is causing your 401ks to be limited as to what they can do.
So what if you have an IRA? Are you required to have somebody manage that for you?
No, you don't have to have somebody manage it. You're already managing most of your retirement money. Why not set up a self-directed IRA, one where you are making not only the choices, again, which you're still doing in your 401k, but you're making choices with many more choices to make. In other words, in a self-directed IRA, you have access to trading futures, Forex, options, real estate, precious metals, all of those things that you have access to. Those are all different sources of income that you can be taking advantage of.
Now, why would somebody want to do that, though? Like, say, for example, the options market, what benefit might they have?
Well, there's a number of benefits there. Number one, you get that leverage, which we talked about. So you can have a small amount, especially if you have your retirement account. I think as people get older and they realize they have fewer years ahead of them, they have more of a reluctance to put large amounts of money into the market.
So then with options, you can use less then and not have 100% exposure.
Absolutely. A fraction of what it would cost you to buy a stock. And then if you look at the returns, kind of a rule of thumb is that if the underlying stock, and by the way, an option is a contract you're trading on something. There is an underlying, like a stock or an exchange-traded fund or a futures contract. Mm-hmm. And if that underlying asset is up 10%, the option typically is going to be up between 100 to 200%. So you get a huge advantage there.
So Al,
you can manage also totally. There's great risk management available with options.
Let me ask you this: there's different benefits to doing it yourself, and there's different benefits using other assets like options. I got to ask you a question: why don't people do that?
Well, where are they getting the knowledge? Where are they getting the education? They're not getting it in school. If you're asking your parents, here's the advice you'll get. If you ask your parents about options or futures, they're going to go, oh, you don't want to do that. That's way too risky. You'll lose all your money. And you go along with that, and basically you give up an opportunity to reach your full potential.
So just so everybody knows, options were designed and created to minimize risk in the market.
It was a risk category that was built for these big firms that have billions of dollars in a position. They can't let that all be at risk. So options are a great way to do that. There's an option strategy that you can use that will function as an insurance policy on your portfolio. You have insurance on your house, you have insurance on your car. You don't know for sure that you're going to use those insurance policies, but the one thing you have that will almost 100% go down in value at some point in time is your portfolio, your stock portfolio, your equity portfolio. You can use options to protect that as basically as an insurance policy. And you can use options so you don't have to choose a direction. You don't have to choose whether the market's going to go up or go down. There are option strategies that can benefit regardless of what direction it goes.
It's amazing. And I wanted to ask, why don't people do that? And it's conditioning. Everybody is so conditioned to put all their money in the market because Wall Street wants you to do that. Your broker wants you to do that. Your advisor wants you to do that. Put all your money in the market, get 100% exposure. So when markets go down, you will lose. There's no way out of that. But when you have options, the options market, there's strategies to insure your portfolio, protect your hard-earned dollars. Why would you just put all your money? They say, what's that term, Al, when people say, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Well, I'll tell you what, if you have a 401k or an IRA being managed by somebody else, that's exactly what you're doing. All your eggs are in the market.
They're in the stock market.
Which means 100% exposure, which means 100% risk. That's why, we talk about this stuff on the show here today to introduce you to some of these different opportunities that are out there. When you come to these investing classes, we're going to be able to show you. It's we can explain as much as we want, but when we're able to show you, and you can see it in a hands-on environment. We have an actual academy here in Bloomington. That's where you're like, okay, this is something that I can do differently. Here's some of the opportunities that I have. Here's what I can do for my future, not my jobs or not my broker or not my advisor's future. Because let's face it, they are always continually profiting the markets no matter what. And what's the main reason? Fees. It's that 4-letter F word. We might talk about that coming up next year, but Al, we have these investing classes that people have been coming into and wanting to do things differently. If you're that person or that you have that mindset where you don't want to be like the public, like everybody else, struggling to get by, well, do things differently. And we're introduced you to these different techniques and concepts in these classes so you can see what they are. That way you can decide. You can make the decision, is this right for you or is it not right for you? But you won't know until you come and check it out. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this class, local here in Bloomington or Woodbury and Maple Grove. Text investing to the number 210-210 to come into one of these classes and see what those opportunities are. Coming up next, we got one more segment to go. Let's inspire you to get started trading and investing. It might be a little bit different. It's not new. It's just a little bit different. Coming up next.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a meeting.